it's been a roller coaster ride, and that's including the stock price. For Disney. Here from That Part Plays, Disney stock has dramatically underperformed Netflix for the last decade. This is by WW Bro over there, November 17th, 2025. After the last Disney company earnings call and subsequent 7% drop in stock value last week, investors are beginning to look at comparisons between Bob Iger's corporation and other major entertainment businesses on the New York Stock Exchange, and that includes Netflix, particularly with its stock that recently split. You can see right here, Culture. This is the comparison of the 10-year between Disney and Netflix.
Ooh.
Now, no financial advice, but you can see right there, if you were to have placed, let's say $100 10 years ago in Netflix versus Disney,
you'd be doing good.
You'd be doing really good, right? You'd be near $1,000 if you had Netflix. Disney, you would have lost money because it wouldn't even appreciate past the point of inflation per dollar.
Yeah. How many times have you split, Disney? Come on now. Here's the weirdest thing, right? They were trying to convince everybody, and I think that smarter people than myself have talked about this, like Jonas and that Valiant guy. But the fact that not only is the stock split multiple times, but they actually compare in the favorables to other tech companies, which Disney tries to pretend they are, and they just are not. Not at all.
They are really, really not. But you can see why they would want to. They would want to be considered a tech type company right here, because the investors on Wall Street, they look at you differently when you actually do that. We go ahead and get somebody who knows a little bit about this as well. At least the downfall of Disney, keeping its stock price very, very low. It is the one, the only Ron from For All the Bradley's Fun. Hello there, Ron.
Hey, Ron.
We're just comparing Disney to Netflix over the last 10 years. Not looking good, Ron. Not looking good.
Disney has goofy arms. They're all floppy.
Of course. Hey, it's good to see both of you guys here on the stream for sure. Culture and looking in good health.
Thank you.
And Vash, I know you're on the mend, so that's very good news, and much better than the news for Disney stock. No financial advice. No financial advice. I was looking at. I know we're looking at. Okay, so the bottom line, the blue is Disney, right?
Yeah. Bottom is Disney. Yes.
They're blue. Baba dee baba da.
I don't mean to point this obviousness out, but things that are red over blue just seem to do better. I don't know why. Anyway.
Well, this analysis right here. In the past year, Disney has returned a total of minus 7.36%, which is significantly lower than Netflix's 33% return. Over the past 10 years, Disney has had annualized average returns of minus 0.11% compared to 25% for Netflix. These numbers are adjusted for stock splits and include dividends right there. But speaking of stock splits, Netflix actually just had a stock split, and people were like, "Whoa, the stock dropped!" And it's like, well, it's when you have a split right there, it can do some funky things to that stock price. But it's usually when a company is so valued so highly, that's when you have to stock split, and you have to make it more approachable for investors like employees, for example, and so forth. Which is very interesting. But I want to go ahead and drop this comparison on you as well, because Netflix spent $18 billion on entertainment for the year of 2025. Now, we know that Disney spent $23 billion on its entertainment in the year of 2025. And that's actually, not a great thing, especially as Valiant Renegade has pointed out over there. This coming from That Park Place, Disney expenses explode in new SEC filing revealing films aren't turning a profit. Marvin Montandero, November 17, 2025. But Valiant Renegade was the one that made found this out. The rising cost problem Disney can't hide. Disney reported $2.5 $2.92 billion in theatrical distribution revenue for the fiscal year ending September 2025. On the surface, that seems like a bright spot, up 14% from the previous year. But the optimism evaporates once the cost column appears. Disney's programming and production tab came in at a staggering $4.26 billion, according to the filing. The number alone outstrips theatrical earnings by more than $1.6 billion before marketing is even considered. And then we get the big one: marketing, prints, and ads, and general licensing costs categorized under selling, general, administrative, and other total $2.746 billion. And that puts the total film-related spending at more than $7 billion against $2.592 billion in theatrical income. This isn't a rounding error, it's a chasm. But wait, there's more. You'd think they would cut the spending. Oh no, guys. They're going to be spending $1 billion more than they did last year, this upcoming year, that being 2026. Guys, is there any catching up for Disney at this point? I mean, I don't think they're ever going to achieve, 890% of where they should be right now in order to catch up to Netflix in terms of the stock price. But is there any catching up in terms of the entertainment that they produce, and is spending more money the way out of it?
I'm just going to say that with the last 10 years, what they've been spending money on is junk. And that's the problem. It doesn't matter how much you spend. It matters what you buy with what you spend. And if you keep producing crap like Snow White live action with Ziegler and Godot and the weird dwarfs, and then you have to produce the thing 3 or 4 or 5 different times because it's not right the first time. I mean, like Elio, how many times did they make Elio? It was definitely more than once. They made Snow White more than once. They made pretty much all of their films with the reshoots and Moana. Didn't Moana just wrap for the second time production? Like,
hey, it looks good. I'm sorry that the live action that we just saw, a lot of the stuff, the stills we've seen they look brilliant. I was talking about that just a little while ago, but you're right. I mean, it took them twice over. Again, the problem is that they're trying to insert garbage into a storyline that does not need to be adulterated. All they had to do was shoot line for line the original animated script, and they had a winner.
Yeah.
So, it's like every shot for shot, line for line, they would have had like a golden return to live action. They still may, but at the same time, I don't trust them because, they just started to put the visual effects team together for the Mandalorian Grogu film. And they just put their leadership together for Mandalorian and Grogu at the VFX house that they're using. So when I'm looking at that and I'm like, these things aren't done in the front of production. They're done in arrears. We have major problems. They're not doing things the right way.
Yeah. No, and that of course increases the cost. And when you continue to increase costs and here's the thing. What the other problem that they have is now they're on the back end of this. They've been producing junk for 5 years and everybody knows it, which means their reputation has declined, which means audiences may not trust them to go to the movies and spend money at the box office, even if it's a good movie. So now if they're waiting till it comes to streaming or PVOD or whatever, it would take them time to build back up the reputation. And Disney, for 90 years at least, had pretty much of a stellar reputation with a couple of dips. But this current dip that we're in I've just never seen anything like it. If you were to look at the stock price of Disney this last year, it's very, very interesting because we had that big dip at the earnings call. But then the biggest dip of the year in the stock price, I noticed when we were looking at like the whole year, was right after Snow White's release. And I think it went down to like $81 in at the beginning of April somewhere. Yeah. Right in there. Oh my gosh. It was so obviously, and I understand why. Snow White, the original animated Snow White, was the classic that everybody said it was going to be Disney's folly, and it turned out to be the thing that actually truly created the Walt Disney Company in a way much more than Mickey Mouse. Mickey is where it started, but Snow White solidified that the Disney Company was going to be great in entertainment going forward. And and then Disney continued to build on that with the other things and Disneyland, and it just up and up and up. Then Disney, after Walt passed away, they struggled a bit, got Michael Eisner in there, and he made things happen with Wells. And then the Iger era. Oh boy, or error. I mean, do you call it the Iger era, or do you call it the Iger error?
Definitely error for sure.
Well,
right?
I
when it
feel
first
like
started out, it was really good. But go ahead, Culture.
Well, yeah, because he just relied on other people's better work that came before him that he could just fall back on and claim credit for. And he's really good at claiming credit for things. But at the same time, I look at him as the second coming of Miller. And that really wasn't a positive era in Disney's history. I mean, and obviously, I mean, he likes to claim that he's got the business mindset, which as a weatherman, I don't know how he can claim that, but he really doesn't. He's picked a lot of the directions that he's picked, especially recently, has been the wrong direction. They've spent money in the wrong place. They've leaned into the wrong things, and they really did alienate the majority of their audiences. It's like he didn't understand that all the levers that he was leaning on that would give him a short-term result were going to harm him in the long run. And that's where the company stands now, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know about you guys. So.
No, I tend to agree with you. I mean, it's where the company is now is like, I guess technically it's in a better place than when Bob Iger started, technically. But I mean, a lot of what was good about the Iger era has been completely undone and upended. I mean, that's the really sad thing about it. And you look at the state of their franchises, even the ones they bought, like Lucasfilm, for example, with all of their litany of franchises. You look at the Marvel MCU, and you look at all the stuff that I mean, if you were to look at this company 10 years ago, you're thinking, oh man, how could they lose? And you look at all that stuff, and it's like, wow, it's all damaged, ruined. Pixar, for example, all of that. I was able to see John Lasseter recently, and it's just like, man, it's so crazy that guy's not working for Disney right now, because he's still producing some amazing stuff over there at Skydance Animation. And you just look at it and you just go, what the heck happened to this company? And unfortunately, there's been so much bad decision making at multiple levels, but all that starts at the top. That there's no question in my mind why Netflix is valued higher. Now it's valued a lot higher, and some of that I don't necessarily agree with, but it is difficult to convince somebody that Netflix doesn't produce as high a quality of product as Disney. Disney right now is just looked at as where quality and art goes to die, unfortunately. When you look at all these remakes, when you look at all the rehashing of IP and product they're putting out there, it's just it doesn't speak quality, and that's an unfortunate thing. Versus Netflix, I mean, so many. I was just looking at the top 10 when it came to Nielsen charts. Nothing from Disney Plus ended up in the top 10 for the week of it was a week in October. I think it was October 13th or something like that. Nothing from Disney Plus ended up there, versus the chart was dominated by Netflix, and that's been the case for a while, unfortunately. Anyway, there are decisions that could be made to right this ship, but coming out of the Iger administration, I don't think it's actually going to happen. We will see what happens with Josh D'Amaro, Dana Walden, and all that, and we'll hope that this all gets better and things improve. But I'm not holding my breath on that, unfortunately.
Well, Iger revealed exactly why this company has done what it's done over the last 5 years. It's very, very simple. They don't revere Walt. It's really, it comes down to that.
It's true.
It's very true. They lost their way.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.